If you've done a Google search for dog training in your area, whether you're looking for a specific program or pricing, it's likely that you can become quickly overwhelmed because there's a lot of options out there. We created this video to make life a little bit easier for you on your dog training search. There's a lot that goes into pricing when you're talking about a dog trainer, from the type of program to the length of program to even specific behaviors that you want to be working on. So this video is meant to give you an overview of what you can expect with each different type of program and specialty as you're beginning your search, and you can start planning out your finances. The first thing to think about when looking for a trainer is you really want to think about what your specific training goals are. Every dog is unique, and so depending on your specific dog and your training goals, how you want that dog to fit in your lifestyle, you're going to need to find a trainer that fits those needs. You wouldn't want a puppy trainer to work with your dog that is dealing with resource guarding issues. Likewise, you wouldn't want an agility trainer if you're trying to teach your dog how to walk calmly on leash. So it's really important that you figure out what your unique goals are so that you can find a trainer that helps you. Now keep in mind, the more specialized help you need, the more expensive your training is going to cost you. This is a direct result of how much experience and education that trainer has to really help you be successful in overcoming those goals. So if we're dealing with things like aggression, resource guarding, reactivity, you're going to want to find somebody that specializes in that, has years of experience, and has proof that they can work through those behaviors successfully. And there is a bigger price tag that comes with that. The next big piece here is thinking about what kind of training program would be best for you. So I'm going to break down the main training programs that are offered to the majority of just family dogs who are looking to improve whatever your skills may be, whether it's leash pulling, crate training, jumping, excitability. These programs are usually a pretty good fit depending on your needs. So first, let's talk about group lessons. Group lessons are great for families with dogs that do pretty well around distractions. They're not going to be the best fit for a dog that gets really overwhelmed with loud noises, big groups, or if your dog is just so easily distracted that there's just no chance of them focusing if there's other people in the room. In group classes, you'll typically be in a group of anywhere between about 4 to 10 dogs and their owners. So it's a busy environment that you want to make sure that your dog can handle. The curriculum is already laid out for you, so you don't have a lot of say in what you want your trainer to help you work through. It's more going to be about picking a group class that focuses on the skills that you are trying to achieve. So these can be things like leash skills, attention around distractions, sits and downs, and then there can be some more advanced ones where you might work on agility, off-leash skills, group socialization, things like that. But it's really up to you to find that group class that fits what you're looking to work for. Group classes are ideal for families that are very motivated and like working hands-on with their dogs. If you get a lot of pride out of working with your dog and seeing your dog's success from the work that you put into it, group classes could be a great fit for you. They're not a great fit for families with dogs that are overly excitable and can't focus around a lot of distractions. And they're also not a great fit for families who need a little bit more one-on-one time, a little bit more attention from your trainer, because they just can't provide that in a group environment. When we are looking at pricing for group classes, a typical class could range anywhere from about $150 to $300 for an entire session. So that's anywhere from about typically 4 to 8 classes where you're working in the group with your trainer. The next option for families is private lessons. Private lessons are great for families that need that one-on-one time, like we mentioned, and can really dive into very specific skills that you want to work on with your trainer. So this is your opportunity to say, I need help with jumping, I need help with barking, I need help with whatever it is that you need. And your trainer can help you set up a plan specifically to meet those unique goals, and they will work one-on-one with you and your dog to work through those. Depending on the trainer that you work with, you may pay for either one lesson at a time, or you may pay for a group of lessons. So for example, our private lessons are sold in a package of 5. So when you sign up, you are automatically signing up for 5 lessons with your trainer. Lessons are spaced out, typically a couple of weeks at a time, to give you time to practice your skills, and then you come back and you keep adding on top of those skills in between lessons. When we are talking about pricing for private lessons, it really has a wide range, and this depends on your area, it depends on the trainer's level of expertise, and then again, it also depends on what behaviors you want to be working on. A rough estimate for private lessons can start you at about $50 per hour of the trainer's time, and then go up from there. The next training program would be day training. Day training is fairly new in the world of dog training, but we offer it and we love it because it's a really great way to balance your trainer having some time with your dog and then you also having some time with your dog. So in a day training program, you are dropping your dog off in the morning. Your dog works all day with your trainer and another group of dogs, and then you pick it up in the evening. This is really nice for some families that don't want to send their dog away for training, but that also need a little bit of extra help hands-on with your dog. Your trainer will do a lot of the heavy lifting for you in teaching your dog your basic commands, how to walk on leash, how to stop some of these problem behaviors, and then they show you how to maintain that training and how to practice at home to make sure that you are successful. The best day training programs are also going to include lessons for you and your family so that you can learn those skills and be successful. It's not worth your investment if your trainer does all of the work, but then you don't know how to maintain it at home. So make sure you're finding a program that builds you up and make sure that you understand and are learning right alongside your dog. Again, prices can vary quite a bit, but we typically see that day training programs start at about $300 per week of training. And this is again dependent on how many days per week your dog is in care and then how long the program is as well. The last training program that we'll discuss is Board and Train. Board and Train is a very popular program because it is very successful, but it's also the most expensive. So we'll dive into that next. In a Board and Train program, your dog goes and lives with a trainer or at the training facility for anywhere from 1 up to potentially 8 weeks at a time, where they are living and breathing their training program. So it's really great for working through some difficult behaviors, but it's also a great option for just building up a dog's confidence, making sure that a dog really understands those skills. By living with the trainer, your trainer can create a lot of structure and a lot of routine and work through a lot of those behaviors that you simply may not have time to because you're also juggling work or school or kids' soccer schedules. So your trainer can help give you that extra push to really work through some of these behaviors in a short period of time that you're not able to just because of how busy life can get. One thing you'll really want to focus on when deciding on a Board and Train program is making sure that your trainer has a very good plan for transferring over their knowledge to you and your dog after the program is complete. It's very likely that your trainer will be able to work with your dog and see amazing results, but it's, again, not worth your investment if you can't follow through with that and make sure that your dog can perform those same commands and skills when it comes back home. So make sure that your trainer does follow-up lessons, offers follow-up care so that you can be successful long-term with your dog. When we're talking about pricing, the average price range for a Board and Train program is roughly $1,000 per week. When you're looking at a training program, make sure you know exactly what you're paying for. Some trainers will include all of your training equipment, and we do that as well because we want to make sure that you, one, are getting the best materials on the market, and two, we don't want to add any surprise costs. So let's say you have a $500 program that you sign up for, but then all of a sudden your trainer sends you a list that you need to purchase of leashes and collars and whatever else it might be. All of a sudden that $500 program can become really expensive really quickly. So make sure you clarify with your trainer exactly what is included so you know exactly what you're paying for. Your dog trainer's experience matters. So when you're looking at a trainer, it's really important to know what are they bringing to the table, what experience, what background do they have, and this can also greatly affect the pricing of your dog training program. A lot of new trainers will offer their services at very low rates because they're trying to gain experience and they're trying to get their foot in the door to become a well-known trainer. So let's say you have a trainer that is offering lessons for $20 an hour. I can pretty much guarantee that this is a brand new trainer that doesn't have a lot of experience and is just trying to give you an opportunity to get some training without a huge investment so that they can also build up their portfolio. There's nothing wrong with that, but again, make sure that you are aware of what behaviors you want to work on And if you're trying to work through some difficult behaviors, you're not going to want to work with a new trainer. On the other hand, if you have a trainer who's charging $200-300 per hour for their lessons, you're either working with somebody that is inflating their worth, and you should be very cautious of that, or you're working with somebody that's very specialized and very skilled at what they do. Trainer availability is another big question to ask. If your trainer can get you in this afternoon for lesson anytime you want, chances are they're not too busy, and you should ask yourself why. They may be new, maybe they had a cancellation, but good trainers that are very sought after aren't going to be available at the drop of a hat. So you should be willing to wait up to a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months to get into a trainer's program if they're a good, qualified, well-respected trainer in your area. Next, we want to look at a trainer's proof that they can do what they say they're doing. Now, I don't expect trainers to have daily content up on their social media or their website. It's not realistic. You want a trainer that's working with their dogs and not always on their phone. But we do want to see videos showing perhaps before and after. What did a dog look like before, and what did a dog look like after? Seeing content that shows that they can actually work on these skills and they're successful with it will help build up your confidence in working with these trainers. If a trainer doesn't have any proof, that's a red flag to think about. The other thing to consider is if a trainer only has proof of their own dog or family dogs, they're probably new and they don't have a lot of experience. Lastly, we want to talk about continuing education for a trainer. Continuing education is huge because the training industry is constantly changing and learning new information that we should be applying to our dogs. And so you want a trainer who is actively seeking out opportunities to grow, whether that be seminars or classes or degrees. You want to ask them, hey, what are you reading? What are you learning about? How are you continuing your growth to make sure that you are keeping us successful and providing us the best information possible? The good trainers out there will love this question, and you might get a bit of information overload with everything that they want to share with you. But if a trainer isn't willing to share or doesn't have any continuing education that they're pursuing, you need to consider that, because that means that they're not trying to improve themselves and their business. So here's a really important question I want you to ask yourself when interviewing trainers. Do you like your trainer? You are going to be spending a lot of time with this trainer, and so it's really important that you feel comfortable with them. We ask some pretty personal questions to make sure that we understand how your dog fits into your life, what you want life to look like with your dog, what struggles do you have. And so if you don't feel comfortable sharing that information with us, you're doing yourself and your dog a disservice, because we don't get a full picture of exactly what's happening. So if you feel uncomfortable or unsure with a trainer that you're interviewing, stop the conversation and move on to find a new trainer that you do feel really comfortable with. With this comes the decision of whether or not you work with a big company or a little company. Big companies or franchises do have a lot of resources available to them, and that can be really beneficial when you're working with a trainer. It can also be a downside because a lot of people do tend to feel kind of lost in the mix. When there's a lot of trainers available, big groups, it can be really easy to just feel like you just become a number and get lost. A lot of people, for this reason, choose to work with small local businesses where there may only be 1, 2, a handful of trainers on staff. This really allows you to get to know them, you become part of the family, and there's that connection that you may not get if you work with a larger organization. I'm not saying one is better than the other, I'm just saying one may fit you better. So take the time to really think about, do I like being in a big environment where I can get lots of information from lots of different trainers, or do I need that one-on-one connection from my trainer and to really feel like I'm part of a small community? In reality, I really haven't given you a clear number on what you can expect to pay when you're hiring a dog trainer. There's so many variables, and there's not a magic calculator that I can just throw everything in and tell you exactly what you can expect to pay. But what I do hope is that you've had the opportunity to learn about different training programs and their benefits, and maybe the reasons that they may not work best for you, what to look for when you're hiring a trainer as far as their credentials and their experience, and then making sure that you find a trainer that you feel comfortable with. This is going to be huge for making sure that you're successful long term. When you're interviewing trainers, make sure that you ask the tough questions so you know exactly what you're getting before you sign on the dotted line.